Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Boyd, and I am a therapist here at Inner Evolution. And this is going to be an info session for learning about what therapy looks like and starting therapy, especially for teens and young adults or coming of age population, as we like to call it. I will start by talking a little bit about our general approach at Inner Evolution and then get more specifically into how therapy can help teen and young adult populations. Our approach is focused on the connection between the mind and the body. That's something we really emphasize. As you can see, we have the word yoga in our name, and increasingly neuroscience is catching up to a lot of what ancient wisdom has known about that kind of thing, that emotions and emotional distress and trauma is really stored in the body and moves in the body and can be resolved in the body. And so focusing on the body as the site of healing as well as the mind and the brain, so both, is really important to us, as well as focusing on a resilience approach. So, helping people move toward a life they want, helping people move toward hope and pleasure and meaning, and not just kind of the focus on decreasing symptoms or decreasing distress, but like what are we wanting to increase? This is a list of some of the services we offer. And then also central to our philosophy of care is the concept of trauma informed care. So, really making sure that the way we're providing care in every step of the process, from the first form we have you fill out or the first phone call and into the therapeutic process, is really aware of not repeating patterns of trauma, not repeating patterns of harm that have caused the very thing that you might be here to help heal from. But we know that so often healthcare settings do repeat a lot of those kind of things where there's inconsistency or saying one thing and doing another and kind of reinforcing a trauma or a pattern of harm instead of going away from it. So that is something that is very important to us to keep, top of mind at all times. And I think that just a few of these, you can see all of those concepts, all of those are so important. But some I just want to highlight collaboration and mutuality, because we really are striving to flatten or erase kind of hierarchy between staff and clients. And seeing it as a partnership where, yeah, staff have their training and they bring out that expertise, but clients also have crucial expertise for their process, because they know their lives and they know what has worked for them and all kinds of things that we don't know. And so seeing it as a partnership and not, a hierarchical thing that we're doing, one person is doing to another. Those are some of the really important ways that we see care, that we see therapy. So, coming of age population, teens and young adults, how can therapy help? This time of life, we all know, is intense. There's a lot going on. If you're in this time of life right now, you know. If you're a parent, you know, and you also remember from when you went through it. And yes, there's a lot going on. There's a lot changing, a lot happening. And this is actually because of not just raging hormones or immaturity, it's actually some profound changes in the brain are happening. And so those are leading to kind of a whirlwind of of new vitality, new drives for creativity and novelty. So it's a cluster of related drives that that come with these brain changes. First one is seeking novelty becomes really important, seeking new experiences. Second one, increasing social engagement with peers. So, kind of a shift from the primacy of relationship in the household to more out in the wider world with peers, and often, sometimes, usually mentors outside the home as well, who are maybe more in their chosen in their areas of interest. Third drive or brain changes, feeling emotions very intensely during this time, and we all know that's true. And then the fourth is a drive toward creative exploration and exploration of consciousness, exploration of how the world works, and that kind of thing. And so these changes in the brain drive adolescents to explore the world outside their home in a way that's necessarily kind of pushing boundaries, pushing against the status quo. And so, of course, that can be challenging, testing boundaries, figuring out like what works for them, what doesn't work for them, about how things have always been done. And it really is a crucial developmental stage for the human species. It's really important that they're actually able to go through all this to have that experience of testing those boundaries and exploring and finding out what works for them or what they believe. And navigating this developmental stage successfully will lead to creative, resourceful, respectful, healthy adults. It's important that they are able to engage fully with this developmental task or this stage of life. And of course, also there are some downsides, some that come with this. While those brain changes are leading to like increase in creativity and vitality, there are those negative sides, such as that drive for new experience and novelty. It emphasizes the importance of novelty in the brain and de-emphasizes the importance of any related risks. And so sometimes risky behavior can happen. And also that drive for peer engagement means that there are lots of these brains together and groupthink can happen. And that can also lead to a lot of risky situations, as well as that drive for creative consciousness exploring, existential exploration, combined with emotional intensity that can lead to a lot of really low mood and risks associated with that. And so also related to peer engagement and emotional intensity, relational struggles, social comparison, very intense feelings around relationships that can also lead into dangerous, states of mind. And so we do want to honor this stage of life, and we want to make sure that kids and young adults are having the opportunities to figure this out for themselves and to explore the way they need to. But we also want to be mitigating risk at the same time, helping them, supporting them to explore and take risks, but like less risks that are not going to be detrimental to the rest of their lives. And so that's going to look different for every person, but I think that kind of honoring that stage of life is, while keeping them safe or keeping ourselves safe and honoring our own process, if you are in that stage of life, is just so important, and it's a central task of that time of life. So how can therapy help with this? One of the ways therapy can help, as I was kind of just talking about, is creating a safe place for self-discovery and self-awareness, self exploration. And so actually another thing that is happening in the brain of adolescents is something called pruning. And pruning is a process where a lot of neural networks that have been kind of open and active in childhood are falling away, and but certain ones are getting emphasized, are getting stronger. And so people are starting to specialize and become more individualized and strengthen certain neural pathways while others are falling away. And so counseling can help them in this process as this pruning is happening, where they're starting to kind of become more the adult that they're going to become. Quote, they're figuring that out. Counseling can help them organize their thoughts and feelings, discern what they love, what gives them joy, what kind of people they like to be around, what kind of work they want to do in the world, what their values are, and what characteristics do they value in others, what makes them unique, what their strengths are, and how can they uniquely contribute to their communities, or what would a meaningful life look like for them. Counseling can also help with developing coping skills. So, as kids are moving away from relying on parents to manage distress, coping skills can be very important, especially with those that increase in emotional intensity. And so, learning in therapy about how they feel when they are distressed, what does that feel like? What are their triggers? What soothes them? Learning relaxation and mindfulness techniques to help them calm stress and anxiety. Learning about the nervous system through polyvagal theory, and learning to identify what state their nervous system is in and what kind of strategies will help them get it back to a place where they're able to learn and engage socially and feel present. Learning to identify what emotions and feelings feel like in the body, as well as subtle signs of distress or dysregulation before it becomes an explosion, learning like how that feels when it's in a smaller version before it escalates. Learning when it's wise to lean into an emotion or feeling and let it run its course, and when it's wise to distract from it. And then also identifying unhelpful thoughts and perceptions, especially about themselves, and working with self compassion. So, those can be some really important ways that therapy can help them learn coping skills. Therapy can also help through providing emotional support. It's a safe place to express and explore emotions and gain insight into the needs or desires that are under the emotions. It can be a really powerful place where their experiences and emotions can be normalized. And so learning that they are getting affirmation that what they're experiencing is a normal and understandable part of the human experience. Counseling can provide powerful experience of attunement, which is having somebody be able to deeply and accurately attune to your state of being, your emotional state. And this can be powerfully soothing to the whole system, to the nervous system, to everything, especially for those who are dealing with trauma or past experiences of lack of attunement. It can really have an incredibly powerful and validating effect that can just calm a lot of things all on its own. Adolescence is also a time, as I mentioned, where a lot of social comparison can take place. So I think that counseling can be a really good place where kids can tune into what makes them unique, what makes them themselves, and kind of learn to put social comparison in perspective as much as possible. So that is emotional support. Therapy can also help through goal setting, helping them set goals that are meaningful to them, clarify what is important to them, and learn to make goals that are broken down enough to where they're achievable and the young people can see success and see progress instead of feeling overwhelmed by it. Counseling can help them learn executive functioning and organizational skills that can be applied in academic work settings and also in household management settings, which I think is so important that some people kind of learn that stuff automatically, but a lot of people don't. And it can provide structure, support, and accountability to help with follow through with stated goals, as well as guidance as to how to set achievable goals. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. And affirmation when progress is made, problem solving when barriers arrive. So it can just be a really, really good, compassionate place to help figure out what's working, what's not working in the things that they're trying to achieve in life. And therapy can help with relationship building. It can help young people learn about healthy communication styles and kind of tuning into what they need in a relationship, how to communicate what they need. Also, learning about elements of secure attachment like consistency, trust, and attunement, learning about different attachment styles and gaining insight about what kind of styles or strategies they tend to use and what they would rather be using. And then also, very importantly, learning about boundaries. So, both for setting boundaries, but also for respecting the boundaries that others have set. And going back to tuning into feelings in the body, learning to feel what it feels like in the body or, in this whole system when there's an internal no versus an internal yes in any kind of situation, a dating situation or a social situation. What does it feel like when something doesn't feel right? What does it feel like when something feels great? And so learning about how that works for them. And so, yeah, just basically a space where they can learn how to engage effectively with other people and problem solve issues that they have in relationships, which is just such a crucial part of becoming a healthy adult and becoming someone who is able to get their needs met as an adult and have relationships as a social creature that are nourishing and fulfilling and supportive and also give support to others. So, yeah, those are some of the ways that therapy can look for young people, some of the things it can help with. Again, it's a very intense time of life, a very exciting time of life, and with proper guidance, whether that's in the form of therapy or not, it can really set the groundwork for a healthy adult life. And so, having the right guidance, having some help in navigating through some of the potential pitfalls can be a really important thing that can set people up with the tools to have a happy, meaningful life. We are currently scheduling, so feel free to email the address you see on the screen or call if you would like to express interest, fill out an interest form, or you can use the QR code as well. And other than that, I thank you so much for listening, for being here, and I hope you have a great day.